What makes you think you have the ability to be a father?
What do you mean? I want her to go home with me, okay? I'm Lucy's father. Why isn't Lucy going home with me? My name is Sam, a waiter at a coffee shop. I've been working here for 8 years, but I still don't know how to use the register because my IQ is that of a 7-year-old. My life is simple and pure, no complicated calculations, no heavy worries. Until one day I took in a homeless woman by chance. To my surprise, a spark of love was lit between us. That woman gave birth to my daughter. I was overjoyed like I could fly. I named her Lucy, but the look in her mother's eyes was full of contempt. She had no intention of becoming a mother. Watching her disappear into the vast crowd, leaving me and this tiny new life behind, I felt helpless and lost. I had no idea how to take care of a newborn baby. When she cried, I didn't know why. I didn't even know what kind of diapers to buy. Formula gave me a headache. Then my neighbor Annie saw my struggles and kindly offered her help. She taught me how to be a responsible father. Even though I had to rely on TV show schedules to know when to feed Lucy, I still did my best to take care of her. To me, Lucy was my whole world. I cherished her more than anything. I went to work and took Lucy along, but as she grew older, I realized I could no longer bring her with me to work. So I turned again to my neighbor Annie. At first she refused, but when Lucy called her name, she softened and agreed to help. Time flew by. Lucy grew up and became curious about the world. She was bright and quick-witted, full of wonder and imagination. She would ask me, "Where does the sky end? Why do men go bald? Which came first, the chicken or the egg?" I may not be smart, but I never tired of answering every one of her questions. Maybe I'm not as intelligent as others, but I gave her everything beautiful in the world. When Lucy started school, she became even smarter. Her school books grew more complicated. I struggled to read the words. She noticed. She brought out her old textbooks. She didn't want to embarrass me. She quietly tried to ease my burden. She was so understanding that even the teacher thought it was unusual. One day I was called to the school. The teacher showed me a drawing Lucy made. In the picture, a big Lucy was holding hands with a tiny me, as if I were the one who needed care. That's when I learned Lucy had started to hate studying. She didn't want to become smarter than me. Sometimes she'd pretend not to understand things just so I could teach her. That was her way of protecting me. At the Halloween party, I had a great time. But Lucy's classmates made fun of me. I felt embarrassed and sad. Her 7th birthday was coming up. I put my heart into planning a surprise party, but mischievous George ruined everything. I got upset and pushed him. To my shock, George's father stormed over and pinned me to the ground. That's when someone from Child Protective Services saw everything. They decided I wasn't fit to be a father and wanted to place Lucy in foster care. They ruled I could only see her twice a week, 2 hours each time. I didn't understand. Why weren't they letting my daughter come home? Why only 2 visits per week? It tore me apart. I just wanted to be with her forever. I racked my brain to find the best lawyer in the city, Rita. Rita was smart and capable, but only took wealthy clients. And with my condition, she didn't even want to take my case, said I couldn't afford her. During my first visitation, I saw the change in Lucy's eyes. Those once bright and hopeful eyes had grown dim. She looked sad and withdrawn. I made up my mind. I would fight with everything I had to win her back. Even though I kept running into closed doors, I didn't give up. I kept begging Rita to help me.
Yes, that's why I told you I would be your lawyer, pro bono.
This time, to my surprise, she accepted. She even said she'd work for free, probably because her colleagues accused her of only working for money. But that didn't matter to me. All I wanted was to win the case, to prove I could raise Lucy. Annie couldn't help me. Her social anxiety made it hard for her to even leave the house. house. The first court hearing arrived on schedule. Even though my IQ was only that of a 7-year-old, I endured the anxiety and pain, desperately trying to act like a competent adult. Both lawyers argued fiercely, but there was no resolution. We had to wait for another hearing. During a break, Lucy asked me to take her to the park. She fell asleep, leaning on my shoulder, smiling in her sleep. Even through the screen, you could feel how safe and comforted she felt, but we were soon found and taken back. Rita was furious. Taking Lucy away without permission could undo all our previous efforts. But Lucy suddenly ran and hugged her. That moment seemed to move Rita too. I cried at home in pain. Annie saw it all from her window. Court resumed soon after. My coffee shop boss came to court to prove I was a capable worker. He even promised me a promotion and raise, but it still wasn't enough to convince the judge. Then, shaking and nervous, Annie showed up at the court to testify for me. But the opposing lawyer, a bearded man, quickly targeted her weakness.
What about your father, Miss Cassell? Since you seem to be such an expert on father-daughter relationships.
Bringing up her troubled past with her father. Annie had a dark childhood. That's what caused her social anxiety. Her face changed immediately. She broke down and couldn't testify. The bearded lawyer then turned to me.
What makes you think you can raise a 7-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 13-year-old? That means, you know what that means? Mr. Dawson, that means she'll be 6 years more advanced than you.
If you love your daughter as much as you say you do, and I know that you do, don't you think she deserves more? Don't you in your heart of hearts secretly question yourself every day, don't you?
I want to stop right now. Okay, I want to stop right now. This is the end of day. I couldn't handle his leading questions. It was the final straw. Love alone wasn't enough. I couldn't give Lucy a good environment to grow up. So I gave up fighting for custody. I only hoped she'd be happy. I missed her terribly and once brought her a bouquet of flowers. But when I saw the foster home's garden full of blooms, I realized I couldn't offer her a better life. I felt she didn't need me anymore. That kind of heartache, a person with the mind of a 7-year-old shouldn't be able to feel. But what I didn't know was that Lucy had been waiting by the door, hoping to hear my voice. I built a wall of paper cranes around myself like a child, shutting the world out, closing the door to others and to my own heart. When Rita learned of my state, she came to visit, kicked open my door, and begged me to appeal, to win Lucy back. But this time I chose to let go. I thought maybe Lucy would have a better life where she was, but Rita told me even though she looked polished and successful, she had a hidden past too. She watched her husband leave, pretending not to notice. Even her own son barely spoke to her. She threw herself into work to numb the pain, eating rushed meals, unable to even tell what the food tasted like. She drifted through life like it had lost all meaning. Though she and I lived in very different worlds, we both carried brokenness and pain. She told me that the most important things are family and love. So for the daughter I loved, I pulled myself together. I worked hard, even took on a dog walking job. I moved near Lucy's foster home. At first, I could only watch her from afar. Then we finally reunited.
You never even came. You never called.
But when we met, her questions and anger stabbed me like sharp needles, piercing deep into my heart. Her foster mother was unhappy about it, believing I was disrupting Lucy's adjustment, but nothing could stop Lucy's heart. Every night she climbed out the window, hugging her fluffy teddy bear, staggering across long streets until she stood before me with innocent eyes and a glowing smile. I worried her foster parents would be scared, so I took her back while she was still asleep, and so it went, night after night. It was her way of holding onto her father's love and longing for a reunion. This quiet expression of affection deeply touched her foster mother. One day, she knocked on my door and offered to help me fight for custody in court. Everyone here had a kind heart. Faced with kindness on both sides, I may not be smart, but it doesn't stop me from loving someone. I hoped we could raise Lucy together to make up for the mother's love she'd missed. In the days to come, everything good seemed to arrive on time. Lucy grew up happily, and no one could separate us again. This story has no magic, No heroes, only a slow-witted father and a daughter who never stopped believing in him. May everyone like me, with clumsy minds, be treated with the gentlest kindness this world can offer, because love may not be perfect, but it always finds its way to the place we dream of most.